Hey there! Have you ever heard of a patent for a device that can detect ghosts? Or a trademark for a particular shade of green? If not, you're in for a treat, because today we're going to talk about some of the most bizarre intellectual properties out there. Welcome to Businessville, where we discuss all things related to business and entrepreneurship. What exactly is intellectual property? Before we dive into the bizarre intellectual properties, let's first understand what intellectual property is. In simple terms, intellectual property refers to creations of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, symbols, names, and designs used in commerce. It includes patents, trademarks, copyrights, and trade secrets. Now, let's get into the most bizarre intellectual properties. Ghost detector patent. Have you ever wondered if ghosts are real or not? Well, someone out there did, and even went as far as patenting a device to detect them. In 2004, Gary Galka was granted a patent for a ghost detection apparatus, which he claimed could detect paranormal activity through various sensors. While the idea of a ghost detector may sound ridiculous to some, it's important to note that patent law allows for the protection of any new and non-obvious invention, regardless of how strange it may seem. The sound of silence. Have you ever heard of John Cage's composition 433? If you haven't, it's a piece of music that is entirely silent. Yes, you read that right. The piece is performed by a musician or musicians who sit silently on stage for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. But what's even more bizarre is that in 2002, the publishers of 433 filed for copyright protection for the piece, claiming that it was a musical work and that the silence was the music. The US Copyright Office ultimately rejected the claim, but it's still a fascinating example of the lengths people will go to protect their intellectual property. Barbie versus Bratz. Most people are familiar with Barbie, the iconic doll created by Mattel in 1959. But in the early 2000s, a new competitor emerged, Bratz dolls, created by MGA Entertainment. The dolls became incredibly popular, but Mattel wasn't happy about it. In 2004, Mattel sued MGA Entertainment, claiming that the creator of Bratz, Carter Bryant, had created the dolls while he was still working for Mattel. The case went to trial, and in 2008, a jury awarded Mattel $100 million in damages. But that wasn't the end of it. In 2010, a federal appeals court overturned the verdict, stating that the trial judge had made errors in instructing the jury. The case went back to trial, and in 2011, a jury found in favor of MGA Entertainment, awarding the company $88.5 million. A particular shade of green. Have you ever looked at a bottle of Heineken and thought, hey, that's a nice shade of green? Well, you're not alone. In fact, the shade of green used by Heineken is so distinctive that the company filed for trademark protection for the color in the 1980s. While it may seem strange to trademark a color, it's not uncommon. Companies like T-Mobile, which has trademarked magenta, and Owens Corning, which has trademarked pink for fiberglass insulation, have also sought to protect particular shades. So what can we learn from these bizarre intellectual property examples? Well, for one, it's important to remember that intellectual property law is designed to protect all kinds of creations, no matter how strange or unconventional they may seem. Additionally, these examples also show us the lengths that companies and individuals will go to protect their intellectual property, whether it's a device that detects ghosts or a particular shade of green. As we move forward into the future, it's likely that we'll see even more bizarre and unconventional examples of intellectual property emerge. But one thing is for sure, intellectual property will continue to play a critical role in shaping our economy and society. Thank you for joining me today on Businessville. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on all things related to business and entrepreneurship. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the fascinating world of business.